Hi everyone, thanks for joining us today. I have Steve here with me from Auros. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks. Great to be here.
Do you mind just introducing yourself and what Auros does for the people who might not be familiar?
Yeah, I'm Steve Boisvert. I'm a senior application engineer at Auros Knowledge Systems. Auros Knowledge Systems is an application that digitizes knowledge and provisions it back into the flow of work. So it's a way to kind of get away from that library model of capturing everything you need to know in a document and basically all these passive forms of knowledge capture. So Auros is trying to transform that into an active delivery system.
Yeah, shipbuilding is so complex. There's so many class rules, SOLAS, whatever, what have you. There's so much knowledge to be captured and accessed. Where does Auros fit into that? How does it work?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So you're correct. The shipbuilding industry is full of knowledge, and often what we find is it's trapped. It's siloed. It's hidden in documents and in various repositories that the individuals have to go and actively search to find what they need to know. And so where Auros fits in is we take that information that's contained in the document, all that technical know-how, and break it down in a way into these little manageable chunks of technical know-how, surround them in enough metadata that we can then provision them actively back into the flow of work. And so it just eliminates that whole need of that individual to go look through the library. Instead, that library comes to them as needed.
The right information.
Right information at the right time, exactly.
How does that fit into the digital transformation? It's kind of one of those buzzwords, and this sounds like it could be related.
Yeah, that's a good point. So in terms of digital transformation, getting that relevant information into the digital models, into that digital workspace where people, complete their work, do their job, develop their deliverables, it's critical to get that information at that point of need. Not only to provide efficiency and make sure that they apply what they need to apply and know what they need to know, but also to then also have traceability and to know that knowledge or those rules or those regulations have been applied to that particular vessel.
So you talked about kind of removing silos and all that. What's the ideal look like for a shipbuilder in terms of knowledge capture, sharing, all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean, ideally, right? It's you do your job, you know what your job is, and not even having to know really that there's this background of information that's there, but then as you begin a new project or working on a particular deliverable, to have those critical pieces of information just automatically appear for you. So completely remove that need to go search and find what you need to consider in your design, but rather just have it be actively delivered at the point of need.
So what's stopping these shipbuilders from getting to that ideal? What are the challenges?
Yeah, there's some challenges there. I mean, part of the challenges are technical challenges in the fact that there's just a broad amount of information that has to be re-vetted to make sure it's still good information, good knowledge. And then two, creating a delivery platform that would allow the user to basically interface with that knowledge when they need it. So obviously not every shipbuilding process right now is digital. There's still a lot of things that are done very manually. So as we get away from those type of processes and get more to like a more model-based environment where it's more predictable, then we can kind of bring in these technologies to deliver knowledge to the individual when they need it, where they need it.
So from your perspective, what's the value of the model-based environment? Why is that important?
It's fantastic because that model-based environment gives us context. So in terms of knowing what to deliver to somebody when they need it, we need to know who that somebody is, what that somebody's working on, and what are the particulars about that thing that they're working on. So all the attribute information or the context information about what they're doing really plays into being able to identify the critical knowledge that they would need to apply at that time of need. And so that model-based environment allows us to capture that and then use that to harness or to retrieve the information that they need when they need it.
So when you're partnering with CAD solutions and other similar types of information providers, so to say, you're looking for someone who can deliver a model-based environment where the clients are working with them.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a critical piece, right? Because again, that model-based environment has all that context. And like the ShipConstructor environment, we've done a project with you, and in the amount of information we can grab from the model itself to then understand what knowledge needs to be applied to that particular drawing, it's invaluable. It's really the difference between having something delivered to the model when they need it versus having someone to walk away from their design, go to either a hard copy or whatever, or it could even be a digital representation of knowledge, finding it, going back to the design, and then trying to apply it. So that model-based environment is extremely critical.
Yeah, you actually mentioned that we worked together in a project. I was going to ask you about our previous work with the NSRP, the National Shipbuilding Research Program. Can you talk about the work that we did together?
Yeah, so we've done a few projects together. We've kind of been maturing our connector. So we started, I'm trying to think, probably I think it was like 2017 with our first connector to ShipConstructor, where we really just kind of established a connection between Auros itself and then a model, making sure like we can connect the repository to the modeling environment. And that was a good first step. Having that connectivity, we can bring in knowledge, but it wasn't mature enough that it was to the point where it was just what that individual needs when they need it. It was kind of like when you're starting a project, here's all the things you might need. But then we did another project in 2019 where we refined that, and we were able to not only bring in what they need when they need it to the different drawings, but we were also able to rule process. And this was a big deal because now we can say, the section modulus for this particular midsection needs to be X. And we were able to validate that, or the structural stiffener needs to be of this material and of this thickness. And then we can compare those to the rules and say, yeah, you're meeting it or you're not meeting it. And then provide a visual representation inside of the SSI environment showing, yeah, this rule has been applied and it has also been validated. And so that was a big step for us to be able to make that connection and do that validation in that environment.
So what's made the partnership successful between SSI and Auros?
Yeah, I think that's a good question, and a lot of it's communication. I think both Auros and SSI are very eager to kind of mature the technology to grow. I think there's an understanding that there's a real need to do the validation of the design in the application itself and not exterior, like maybe in a spreadsheet or whatnot. And there's just been just an openness and a willingness to partner and communicate and grow the applications together.
Yeah, and then looking towards the future, that growth, what's in store for SSI and Auros?
Yeah, so some of the things that are coming up, we're overhauling the previous interface that we had. So the CAD connector that we developed in 2019 is getting off a complete facelift. Still going to have similar functionality to what we had at the time, but much better user interface. There's been additions to your portfolio with enterprise platforming. Yeah, and so there's some opportunities there that didn't exist at the time when we developed the initial connector. So enterprise platform, it's another opportunity for us to gain more context, to get the right information to the people at the right time.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me today, Steve. It was great
no
chatting
problem.
with you.
It's been a
I
pleasure.
look forward to our mutual success in the future.
Right on.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Yep.